Okay. It's your brother EB, Success After Lockdown. With he in the building today, man. We here to talk with a brother named Jeff, that did some time in state prison. Just gonna have a conversation right now, man. And I just want to say good to meet you. You heard? Nice to meet you.
It's nice to
And
meet you too. It's good
I
to be
seen I
here.
seen you on I seen you on TikTok, and I seen response that you made, and what I thought about when you made the response to the brother that we had on our show. It was like dare to be vulnerable. So I look at vulnerability as a success in life, because if we ain't vulnerable, like something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember a time when it was like vulnerability was unheard of for me. That wasn't cool. That wasn't you know what I'm saying? That wasn't the protocol. Being vulnerable. Nah, we don't talk. We don't say we scared of this, so I ain't scared of nothing. You know
Well,
what I mean?
the
So
world has changed now, right?
no question.
And when you come home after, I did 26 years and you turned your emotions off for
No,
26 years in the penitentiary, sometimes when you get home, it's a sensory overload. You know what I mean? Because for so many years, you're numb. You see a dudes get cut, stabbed, the police, you hear a dude scream in the middle of the night, and you got to put all of that stuff away for you to make it through your day, right? And then when you come home, you're trying to readapt to a world that we don't know. We're not in New York State does not get anybody ready for success upon their release, right?
that's
Anybody's
right. It's a fact.
Yeah, anybody's success that came home in New York State is because they wanted it bad enough to not go back. That's the only reason.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You're absolutely right about that. So I got my brother on calling me. Just letting him know it's a brother that's on with me. Give me 1 second. Then we can go back to this. Yeah, so it's definitely changed, man. So I did 27 years and 6 months incarcerated, man. New York State prison. Went to prison at the age of 20. Came home August 10th, 2020. So this year be my fourth year home. Just got off parole August 10th, 2023. You
No,
know.
I'm
So
trying. I got home in August of last year, so it hasn't even been a year.
congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. It feels great.
Congratulations on that. Listen, I know all too well. You know what I mean? How you feeling? Because
Yes.
the feeling is still there going on 4 years later. You
Well,
know what I mean?
I think that those that come to understand who they are and grow in their time, feel blessed upon their release, depending on what it was that they did while they were there, right? Prison
Absolutely.
saved my life probably in the sickest, most horrible way because of the way I was living in the 90s. You know what I mean? I was slinging that gun. I was running around. I thought I was tough for real. And sooner or later, you're going to have to use it. You know what I mean? And that the world has changed where, thank God, it's not as we're not promoting violence the same way, but we still kind of are. So I don't know where we're going, but it seems like people are getting a better understanding of of the things that they did to us when we were young, not to do to the next generation. Do you know what I mean? Like
No question.
it's. I think that there's a sweet spot though, because somewhere we gave them too much. So the people that are in their 30s right now are soft and confused. And the younger ones, I don't know where the sweet point is where we know if you hit your kids, It doesn't work. They become violent. They act up, and they think violence is the answer and all this other stuff. But if you coddle them and we give them everything, then look at these what we have now. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure it all out, and
it's hard to balance all that because listen, I work for an agency of family services for the state in New York, and I
I'm
work
trying to
with
find
kids.
something similar down here because Pee Wee and them are all doing that in New York still. Pee Wee and them are doing it. And if I was home in New York, it would be easy because I was part of BARD and everything else. But the best thing for me to do was to leave New York. New York, because I got hit at the board twice, made me come to New York for a month. But I stayed in the cut and waited to get and came to my house down here in Baltimore. I don't know anybody. I'm not running in. If I get bored, I can't call the homies and get involved. So it was the best thing for me.
Okay. No question. No, that's understandable too. Cause New York is New York is still New York. New York is still fast. New York is still doing what they're doing. So we got a lot of brothers that's home now, that graduated from BARD while incarcerated, that graduated from Mercy University. You know what I'm saying? That got their master's degree, that's in the loop. I mean, and when I say in the loop, they in a positive loop, you
Yeah.
know. At the same time, you know, the integration is still there. You know what I mean? Being a New Yorker, being in New York City, it's still fast. It's still, you know what I mean? Anything can happen.
The cost of living, though, is
That's what. Let's talk about that. Yeah,
let's
that's
talk
serious.
about that, right?
Yeah, that's serious.
You spend all that time in the penitentiary, and then you step into a world where it costs. Like I was watching, I'm fortunate. I was good. My wife is good. I'm in a blessed situation, better than most, right? Because I wrote
Yeah,
my books, I did my thing, I boom. But I had watched smart dudes that were coming home after 10, 20 joints, and they're on the Zoom when we're doing the book, and they're going through it. Like the shelter system is no different than sitting in the penitentiary. And it's I don't know how we change that, right? How do you get somebody who's pulled out of the world for 20 years and integrate them back in New York when we don't use work release? We give work release to dudes that have been in jail for a year. It
yeah,
should be for somebody that does 15, 20. You ease them back, see if it, but they don't want to fix it in New York. They want to placate and do things in New York, but they don't want to fix the problem because upstate New York thrives on sending us from New York City up to their penitentiaries. And so there is nothing in making it better. And that's what the problem is. I saw it when Kathy Hochul got elected and I was getting ready to go to my board again. They were starting. I caught an assault on step before my parole board when all of that stuff was happening, because you know how that plays out. They need them. They need those numbers to happen and everything else that happens in New York.
absolutely. That's when I look at the system and I look at the shelter, I know a lot of brothers that
It cut out.
no, that was my mute. My mute messed up, but that was one thing that was a negative in the system with the system is 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 coming home and having to go through that. So I had some brothers that had to go through that too. And they had families, but didn't want to go back to their families.
Well,
They wanted that
you're a
independent.
grown man now, right?
Yeah,
Some of us look. I left. I haven't lived in my home since I was 14 years old, right? So I came home 47 years old. I had to go to my mother's, even if it was only for a month. I have a wife and a house. But when I went to see a doctor, she said, "Oh, you live at home with your mother." It hurt my pride as a man at 47 for them to say that, knowing that I have a house and a wife to go for it. So I could imagine with somebody when that's their reality from coming. Yeah, you feel blessed to be home, but you're still under
Absolutely.
somebody's roof, right? You're still under
Absolutely.
somebody's rules. You're not there. So it's
I mean, if we could, let's talk about that though. Like, can like my audience, followers, family, like, can we get a sense of Jay and who where you grew up at, how you grew up, and
right.
one
So
family home, one parent home, two parent, how was it?
so look, so I bounced around. So the lady who I consider my mother is technically my aunt, right? Because my father was in and out of the system. He had done his thing. He couldn't take care of me and my sister. So we got separated and I kind of got bounced around. And I was in Long Island, I was in Queens, I was in Brooklyn, I was in Manhattan. And when I got into the drug game, because I got bounced around so much, it worked to my pot because it was easy for me to network and do the things that I needed to do. So because I didn't have a family nucleus that was like I felt was mine, it was easy for me to get involved with gangs and everything else.